Daily Deuce. I'm Gary Graves from just outside Louisville, Kentucky, and in Maryland, the land of pleasant living, home of the Baltimore Orioles. John Webster. John, how you doing today?
Hey Gary, doing real good, man. It's my kind of weather. It's like 97 degrees with a heat index of 102 or 105. I'm absolutely positively loving every minute of it.
Man, okay. Come out here to Kentucky. We'll see if you like hot weather, because you know what they say out here. It's a dry heat.
Hey man, I don't care what kind of heat it is, wet heat, dry heat, in between heat. I just love it.
Okay. All right, man. Well, to each his own. I mean, I can't complain because, in 6 months we might both be complaining about snow and freezing our fingernails off. So yeah, you take your blessings where you get them, man.
Definitely
Yeah.
would rather have this than to have the snow and the cold. I
Yeah.
love this time of year. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. So man, let's see. We're in one season right now, one season only, and that's baseball, the national pastime. We're a week away from the All-Star game. And speaking of which, there are several Baltimore Orioles on that team, John. I'm going to turn this part over to you and let you go through all the festivities.
Well, getting close to the All-Star break. Three Orioles have made the All-Star team: Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rushman, Corbin Burns. And there's some talk there should have been more: Grayson Rodriguez, Jordan Westberg, to name a couple. But I'm happy with what we have so far. It's been a good first half of the season. Uh, up by three, up by three on the Yankees. Going to close out this week before the All-Star break with the Cubs and the Yankees. I still have the same concern I've been having, Gary, which is
Pitching.
pitching. We don't have a prime example. Cade Povich, I think you got to stick with him. He's gonna be good. He had a rough outing on Saturday. Orioles lost 19-8, but that's one of those games where you just throw the tape away. It's one of those days. It doesn't even.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant now.
Yeah.
But what is not, in my opinion, irrelevant? Cole Irvin came in and pitched, gave up 5 runs. His last 3 or 4 outings have been consistent with giving up 4 and 5 runs, and he's been getting waxed and hit like it's going out of style. Dylan Tate, struggling, gave up 4 or 5 runs on Saturday. Brian Baker is starting to go back to what he was last year, so he's starting to struggle. Gary, I said it last week, and I've said it to others. People have asked me about if the Orioles should make a trade. I said you can look at a trade, but do not mortgage your future. There's too much talent within the team. You have another pitcher coming up, Chase McDermott, who is another great pitcher who concentrates on strikeouts. So maybe you bring him into the bullpen. Another big problem you do have in the bullpen, and I've said it and I will continue to say it, Craig Kimbrell has a place with the Orioles. His place at this point in his career is not closer. The Orioles need a closer. They don't really. They have Kimbrell. He has 23 saves, but I'll also say within that 23 saves, he only has maybe one or two 1-run saves, and he's blown 3 or 4 1-run save opportunities. I'm just not comfortable going into the playoffs with him as the closer. 7th inning, Cano is the 8th inning, and got to come up with somebody for the ninth. That's my thought. This pitching, I think a key component is going to be Dean Kramer. Dean Kramer just came back. So if you have Kramer back, then you'll have Burns, Rodriguez, Kramer, and Suarez, Albert Suarez. That'll be your four. Got to find a fifth. I don't think Cole Irvin is going to be able to hold on to that fifth spot. He's really, really struggling. So we got to see what's going to happen. Well, I forgot Cade Povich. So right now the five would be, if Kramer continues to do what he's doing, be Kramer, Cade Povich, Grayson Rodriguez, Corbin Burns, and Albert Suarez. That would be your five. Cole Irvins is, like I said, struggling. You may send him down. I don't know. I was hoping he could be long relief. I'm not sure he can do that right now. He's really struggling. I just think for the Orioles, I mean, you got to take your chance when you can, Gary. But to give everything, and I wouldn't say everything, but to give away some of your chess pieces, I can't. I mean, when you look what is down there at Norfolk and what's been in Bowie, you got well, Heston Kjerstad just came back up, but you got Jackson Holiday down there. You got Corby Mayo down there. I just mentioned Chase McDermott. It's a lot that they have there, and I'm just not ready to give up on those kids. If I did anything, I would trade one of the veterans. I would trade if I had to make a move. I would look at trading Ramon Urias or maybe Austin Hayes. The only rookie that I would even I can't even believe I'm saying it because I don't really want to do it, would be Colton Cowser. That'd be the only one. Jordan Westberg is a no-go. Gunnar Henderson is a no-go. Adley Rushman is a no-go. Grayson Rodriguez is a no-go. Do you see where I'm going with this, Gary? They have a smorgasbord of young talent, a smorgasbord. And also, and I say this, and I've said this before, Cedric Mullins cannot be any part of any trade. You do not have anybody in the Orioles organization right now who can come in, step in, and play center field like Mullins. Oakland, they played this past weekend. Oakland Alameda County Stadium. Gary, you're familiar with it. It's a very spacious outfield, very spacious. And I'm being kind at the way I'm saying it.
You think about the outfield. I keep thinking about that foul territory, which seems like it's like 50 yards. I mean, some stadiums the ball is out of play. Everything is in play in that place because it I don't know whether you call it a football stadium or, it's supposed to be multi-purpose, but when I think about that series, since you allude to it, that when it comes to baseball, it is cavernous. I'm just going to leave it like that. And even when it was for football, the sight lines were bad because there was always that one corner end zone where you wasn't sure if a guy scored or not because he just seemed to disappear almost into the tunnel there. So, from a baseball standpoint, it's definitely a pitcher's park because it's just so spacious. And teams like the Orioles, when they go to the West Coast, it takes probably a game before they adjust, and by the time they adjust, the series is over.
Yeah. You're right. It's an unbelievable place. Foul territory is unbelievable how much room you have in foul territory. First base side and third base side. You got a lot of room behind home plate. They moved that up. It used to be 90 feet. Now it's 60 feet behind home plate with room.
Yeah. But John, I just want to say, in terms of the quandary that the Orioles have, I don't think it's a big quandary. They're up by 3. You mentioned you mentioned their areas of concern. I'm still a believer in that, the season until you get to the All-Star break, that you just kind of play it out and see what happens. Just try to be patient. When you're up by 3 games, it's obviously better than being down by 3 games. But I think as we last talked, all it took was one series to turn things around, and obviously that's why the Orioles are on top now. But all of your concerns about the pitching,
Mm-hmm.
uh, especially with the bullpen. I don't know. I'm always afraid of ticking off the baseball gods and getting rid of part of your future, just to try to stock up. But um, when you mentioned veterans, I hadn't really thought about that because I still feel like that's part of their chemistry and part of their core. And I've been leery about that. But I say, John, if we get to the 1st of August and we're still, well, I'll say if we get to the trade deadline and the Orioles still have those concerns, then yeah, you might think about picking up maybe a veteran arm or something, even at the expense of giving up one of your regulars, because it's baseball just being such a fine line between being up and being down, and especially with an Orioles team that I feel like they're maturing, but they are still kind of young in many ways. And the Yankees are the Yankees, especially with that murderers row lineup that they have with Stanton and Judge and Juan Soto. And you know that they're going to get healthy, and you know that they're going to get good. I forgot, like, what there was a tear that I think what Judge was on was something like 7 home runs in 10 games or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's dangerous, but again, they have pitching issues too, and that's where things kind of balance out. So that's what I say. I wouldn't really worry until like maybe the 1st of August. If you don't see the graph going upward or something, then you might think about making a trade. And in the farm system, it might be worth maybe giving up a prospect or something, a prospect, to maybe get a veteran player, because every team is looking to try to stock up their farm system, and look no farther than down the road at the Washington Nationals. All of those players that they got when they cleaned house a few years ago are guys that are keeping them within range of 500. And I'm trying to think of the prospect that they just brought up was James Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he's living up. He's living up to the hype right now. I mean, I see a huge upside for him. And you know, when it comes to trades, I you know I'm just very, very, very nervous right now about the Orioles doing a panic move, and maybe that's the best way to describe it. It's like, if you see a need and you can get a player that might help you, just don't panic. Just don't like think, okay, one game up can turn into 3 games down. You just try to see, and you look at the schedule too. I think that schedule kind of plays to the Orioles' favor in August, other than some of the divisional games.
It's a better schedule. Coming off that June schedule, they played 29 games in 30 days or 30 games in 30
Yeah,
days. Ended up with an
yeah,
18-12 record. That's not bad playing what they did. And they played the Yankees,
yeah,
Phillies, and Braves back to back to back.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's not bad. And keep in mind, Gary, I'm not advocating for a trade. I'm saying be very cautious. Last year, the Orioles picked up the pitcher from St. Louis Cardinals. What is his name? Haggerty, Jack Haggerty,
Oh yeah,
Jack.
yeah. That
Okay,
sounds familiar.
okay. I don't even know if he made the playoff squad because he struggled that much as a pitcher. My point is this: going outside to get something is not always a guarantee you're going to get something. Let me say that again. Going outside to get something is not a guarantee you're going to get something. So they need to be careful. You have some players in your farm system right now. Like I said, I mentioned Chase McDermott. There's another player or two that are pitchers that I can't think of their names that they're also looking at. You got Jackson Howard there. You got Mayo. You got some players down there. You got Kyle Stowers back down there again. So you got some players. Be careful about what you move for your future. That's why I said if I moved anything, if I'm looking to move anything, I'm moving one of my vets. I'm moving somebody like Ramon Urias. I
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you somebody that looks like that you could move them, but I would be hesitant about moving them is Jorge Mateo because Jorge Mateo can play short, second, a little bit of third, and he's a speed merchant on the base. He can steal bases. Between him and Mullins, if you get both of them on base, you got to track me. So I would be hesitant. That's why I said my choices of trades will be really limited. Urias, Austin Hayes. That's what I'm looking at. I say Austin Hayes because right now Santana's on a roll, and you got to keep two of your outfielders. So Mountcastle is a solid first baseman. I'm not trying to trade him. So Ryan O'Hearn is a great player, utility player, can play left field, can play first base, can play right field. What do you do? I mean, that's why I say you may have to be patient and roll with what you got because you don't want to get you have a plethora of riches. And I am greedy, Gary. You know me. When I come to eat, I bring the biggest plate in the place. So I want it all. I want
Yeah.
it all. So I'm not looking to give up anything. Like the great move they made this year, they got Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns is absolutely a number one pitcher. He is the ace on the staff. That's what I talked about last year, what they needed. But what you gave up, and you got to give up something to get something. So they gave up DL Hall. Think
Mm-hmm.
about it right now. If you have DL Hall right now, maybe he's your ninth inning closer. But then at the same time, maybe you don't have Corbin Burns. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think the Orioles did a very good job in what they got out the deal. And again, to get a picture of the quality of Corbin Burns, you got to give something up. It's just the
Yeah.
nature of the beast.
Yeah. Well, John, as we get close to the All-Star break, let's talk about the All-Star game itself. And with the All-Star game in every sport, I wonder if baseball's All-Star game used to be one that we look forward to. It wasn't just like it wasn't just looking forward to seeing the best players. It was looking forward to seeing a game that mattered. And I think the last heyday of the All-Star game was when home field was riding on it. It seemed kind of hokey at the time, but you look at the All-Star game now. I wonder just if that game is even relevant anymore because they don't even play in their regular uniforms. That's always been a sticking point with us. I don't know what baseball is trying to do with some of these alternate uniforms. The City Connect uniforms, I think are just absolutely horrible. I mean, and if Charles Barkley was here, he would be saying, "Oh, they're horrible." Um, and I wonder now if I'm just watching a TV show as opposed to a ball game. And I know it's always been an exhibition, but guys really used to take it seriously. I'll tell you here's the biggest problem that I have. Most of the intrigue, really, I think, is with the home run derby. I mean, I think that's the one thing that people probably pay attention to more than anything because they'll see guys that like really take something serious in both leagues. And you got guys on both sides kind of rooting. They're playing against each other, but they're also kind of rooting for each other, and that's compelling when you have an all-star game where players are mic'd up and they're missing ground balls while mic'd up. Thank you very much, Fox Sports, for kind of messing that up. But John, I really wonder, is anybody going to pay attention to this All Star game? Because we don't pay attention to the Pro Bowl. We don't pay attention to the NBA All-Star game. I can't tell you what they've done with hockey's All-Star game, and those used to be very, very compelling games to watch.
Well, Gary, I think maybe with that question, and Dante will tell you this, that you're probably asking the wrong person because he says I'm the no fun guy. So I'm not a big fan of all-star games because I think they preach individualism, and I really
Mm-hmm.
believe in the team concept. Um, I'm not saying that the players aren't deserving, but I'll give you an example for me. And I guess this is where Dante he says this is where I'm just ridiculously a hater. You got the home run derby.
Mm-hmm.
Gunnar Henderson is in the home run derby. I'm more worried about him ruining his swing than being in the home run derby. You know, he's batting 290, on base percentage is out of this world. Great leadoff hitter. He's led off games with 9 home runs this year as a leadoff hitter. I just don't want to lose that. And see, if I'm owning the Orioles, I'm under the table paying him 6 figures not to be in the home run derby. I'm
Yeah.
just that's just me. Um, I remember as a kid, and you probably remember this one. National League's playing the American League, it's a tie game, single to the outfield. Pete Rose is rounding third, coming home with the winning run. Ray
Yep.
Fosse is blocking the plate, which used to be allowed. Pete Rose barreled over him just like it was a regular game.
Mm-hmm.
National League wins. And oh, by the way, Ray Fosse was never the same. They had, if I'm
Well,
not mistaken, they carried him out of there on a stretcher. You know,
well, not really. Okay. There's a lot that's been made about that, whether he wasn't the same, but that really didn't end his career because remember, he was on two Oakland A's championship teams as their catcher. And this was a team with Gene Tennis. The thing about it, um, from Pete Rose's standpoint, and you could look at it two ways. As an old school guy, I'd say, yeah, that's how baseball was played, and I was a catcher. I relished collisions at the plate because it was kind of like him or me. Um, with Ray Fosse, like he another injury is what kind of took him out for the rest of that. It didn't help, they got bowled over by Pete, but you know we love hard nosed baseball like that. And I mean, I keep thinking about 1971, how much it mattered when Reggie Jackson hit that home run off the light stanchion, at Tiger Stadium, and I think about excuse me, not Goose, Doc Ellis going against Vida Blue, and no jokes about Doc Ellis. I mean, because he was a beast as
hey,
a pitcher.
Gary, I'll just say this: two blasts from the past. A lot of
Oh,
people don't remember Doc Ellis. He was a bad mamma jamma.
oh
I
man.
remember him. He's another one with the Pittsburgh Pirates that had me crying. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
another one.
But yeah, and it's like it's taken 50 years for me to kind of really put those Pirates in context about really how good that team was. In terms of Stargell,
Mhm.
Ellis, Steve Blass, Bob Robertson,
Manny
uh,
Sanguin, Manny
Manny
San,
Sanguin. Yeah,
Roberto Clemente.
yep. And Roberto. Oh, yeah, Roberto Clemente, who I'm
He hit
telling you,
400. He hit 400 in that World Series.
yeah, yeah, he did. And I think what was it? He made the last out of that 71 series. But
Yeah,
and again, that's the thing. It's like we can sound like no fun guys and stuff, but that's what made the games relevant. I just don't see it now. It's like to me, it's like batting practice to some of these guys. Yeah, they can be friendly with each other, but the whole competitive nature is gone. And I think there's more, like you said about the home run derby, there's probably more importance on that for a team's fortunes in the second half than anything else because let's think about the home run contest and what how some of these guys and you were talking about straightening out swings or affecting swings. I think
Mhm.
Juan Soto was in it one year
Mhm.
and I want to say yeah he won it and then it seemed like everybody kind of knew how to pitch around him. I mean,
Mhm.
he got a few home runs, but he wasn't quite the same player in the second half. And it takes a lot out of you. It really, really does take a lot out of you.
Yeah.
And
It's
with
and also they
Gunnar
modified the
Henderson,
rules this year.
yeah, well, see, I don't even know where to go with that. But I think my thing, um, what I want to see from this year's All Star game is just something to watch. I want to see something compelling to watch because, there are games like the Tuesday night games, the midweek games that are on like TNT or TBS or whatever. Those games are actually pretty good. For
Hmm.
whatever reason, I think, those are the games that I pay attention to probably the most because they seem to have a lot more at stake, and you see, guys, really kind of going at it. Obviously, it's regular season, and
Hmm.
and when you're the Atlanta Braves or the Philadelphia Phillies or something, and you're going for something meaningful. So yeah, I would expect that, but that's the whole thing. They need to really recapture some of that relevance and making it compelling because right now it's like I just see just kind of an exhibition game and guys halfway expect them to walk on the field with their golf clubs on their back like they do at spring training.
Well, it's going to be interesting. We will see next week how this plays out. More than likely, you and I will be on the phone with each other back and forth while the game's going on.
Yeah, yeah. So, John, it's been, well, we've talked about our favorite sports and stuff, and we got a lot going on. Looking forward, probably by this time next week, we'll be talking about Wimbledon. No Coco Golf, but we still have Joker, who looks like the old Joker, and he's talking trash and such. We could be looking at the British Open
Mm-hmm.
with golf. So yeah, and of course the eve of the Olympics, and that's the thing. I'm probably looking forward to these Olympics more than a lot than some of the other ones. Not just because Simone Biles seems to be the same old Simone Biles, but the track and field, I think, is a real big opportunity for the U.S. to reestablish its stature in the sprints. Shakari Richardson, rather. I really want to see her succeed. I mean, I really, really do because she seems like she's there. Um, I'm trying to think of the other. There's who else? Gabby, was it Gabby Wilson? I'm trying to think of yeah. I mean, she has a chance to really stand out. And again, and actually the U.S. men's basketball team. I that team is intriguing. If they lost the game, it wouldn't shock me. But they could also run the table again, and I say that, John, because I think the world is caught up to them in a lot of ways to the NBA. I mean, who are probably the top three players in the league in your opinion?
That's a hard one. I mean, of course,
Well,
you,
I mean,
you
I would say Joker, Giannis, and now we can make a case for Luka Doncic. And I mean, and when I say players, I should say top three foreign players. But any discussion really kind of starts with them in terms of what they mean to their teams. Uh, and gosh, Kristaps Porzingis. I think when he's healthy, he's a guy that I think we could be talking about as one of the NBA's best. I mean, he wasn't at his healthiest, but he still helped the Celtics, win a world championship. But those are discussions that we'll marinate on till next time, John. Folks, watch us on YouTube, subscribe. If you need a link or something, just shoot us an email. We're on Facebook and just anything. Just please watch sports because it takes you away from the humdrum days of summer.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Watch some sports, like Gary says. We have Wilmington still going on strong. You got baseball going on. Then next week, you have the All-Star game. You got the British Open coming up. Don't forget the Euro League and soccer. A lot is going on. Watch sports. Come back and see us real soon. Take care.